In this module, we're going to take a look at what we can do while working on an incident outside of the main tasks of modifying the incident details and responding to procedure steps. Let's start out by taking a look at adding reminders to incidents. A reminder is like a little alarm clock you can set for your incident. You can set different times and recurrences for it to go off, and select a message to display, or even trigger another incident from the reminder. To set a reminder, select the incident you want to add the reminder to, and either click on the menu button on the bottom of the Details pane, right-click on the incident pin on the map, or right-click on the incident in the list. From the menu, select Add a Reminder, and you'll get a pop-up window like this. The first thing to set is the recurrence, or when you would like the reminder to activate. Once will have the alarm go off one time at the date and time specified. The reminder will stay in case you want to modify it and set a new one-time reminder. Every minute does exactly that, activates every time the clock changes to a new minute at 0 seconds. There is no date or time to select, it starts looking at the time as soon as you hit save. Selecting hourly will allow you to select when during the hour you'll get the reminder alert. For example, if you set it to every 5th minute of the hour, it will pop up a reminder at 8:05, 9:05, 10:05, and so on. Daily will bring up the reminder at a specific time that you set every day. For example, if you know the maintenance team leaves at 4 p.m. every day, you can set a reminder in the incident to follow up with the team at 3:45 to update the incident with the repair status. Weekly adds to that functionality where you select the time of the reminder, but you can also select the day it will go off. Only one day can be selected from the list, and you can only add one reminder per incident. The next recurrence is something that's more often added as part of the incident automation and will activate when the incident is started. The on-startup recurrence is a good way to add some extra notes to handling the incident or bring it to the recipient's attention. The last recurrence is setting up a custom interval. With this setting, you can select how many days, hours, and minutes until the next reminder alert. Once you have the timing set, you need to decide what kind of alerts you want. You can have a specific message come up with the alert, or you can trigger an additional incident. If you leave both of the boxes blank, you'll still see the alert pop up in the notification tray with the name and ID of the incident, the date and time of the alert, and the state of the incident. Messages will be added below this if one was configured. This reminder alert goes to anyone who is a recipient of the incident and has 3 options to interact with the alert. You can either view the incident on the map in the Incident Monitoring task, view the incident in a separate monitoring task, or dismiss the reminder. If you have a recurring reminder, dismissing the alert does not remove the reminder from the incident. You can see if a reminder is configured for an incident by looking in the list under the Reminder column. If the bell icon is there, a reminder has been set. You will also see the Reminder section in the Details pane. If you need to modify or delete the reminder, you can do so from this section using the menu button on the right. You can also click on the menu or right-click on the incident pin or list entry and choose to modify or delete the reminder. Reminders only exist for active incidents, so if you resolve the incident, the reminder will be removed. Until now, we've been looking at how you can respond to an incident using the Incident Monitoring task. But if you feel you need to do more research for an incident and need some tiles to work with, you can also work on incidents in the Monitoring task. To bring up an incident in the Monitoring task, you can double-click on the incident pin or the incident in the list. You can also choose the View and Monitoring option from an incident menu. Also, whenever you get a reminder or a notification of a new incident in your system tray, you can choose to view the incident in the Incident Monitoring task using the first option, or in the Monitoring task using the second option. Once you bring up an incident using one of these methods, you'll see a new monitoring task open with the incident ID and incident type as the name of the task. By default, the monitoring task will be in the 4-tile layout, the map will load in the first tile, and the area view will be hidden. The other tiles will be populated with any related entities that have been associated with this incident. On the side where you usually see your widgets, you will see the incident instead. The General tab is still available on the bottom to switch back to your widgets, but the Incident tab will be selected by default. If you want to change how the monitoring task comes up for an incident, take a look at the section on Setting up the Incident Monitoring Task. From here, if you want to bring up other cameras or entities to work with, like doors or zones, you can show the area view and drag them into the tiles. If you need more tiles, just click on the Change Tile Pattern button on the bottom and select a pattern from there. Note that you have more patterns available by clicking on the More button. From the map in the first tile, you can still pan around and zoom in or out to see entities nearby, but you will not be able to see other incidents. The Details pane on the right can still be used to respond to the procedure steps or make any other changes to the incident that you're used to doing, so you don't have to jump back and forth between the monitoring task and the incident monitoring task. Once you're finished working on the incident, you can just click on the X in the tab to close this task. In case you have a lot of incidents in your list, there are ways that you can reorganize it to only see what is important. The most basic way is sorting on the columns in the list. Just click on the column header and it will sort based on the column in ascending order. Click on it again to change to descending order. To group incidents based on one of the incident columns, like the priority or the state, you can right-click on one of the column headers and choose the Group By option. Just a quick note that not all the columns are shown by default. If you want to change which ones are shown, use the Select Columns option from the same menu. From the Group By window that pops up, you'll be asked which column you want to group the results on. Once you select a column, you can toggle if the results will be shown in ascending or descending order. To add another group within the first group, you can click on the Select Columns button to choose a second group. For example, if we choose the priority column as our first group and the state as the second, we will first see a group with all the critical priority incidents. Within this critical group, we'll see a group of all incidents in the new state, another group for the incidents that are in progress, then on hold incidents and resolved incidents. The list is still showing all the incidents that you're supposed to see as a recipient, but it is organizing them into batches. If you want to collapse the view of a group, click on the triangle next to it. If you want to change the sort order, the columns used to group the incidents, or remove one of the groupings, right-click on a column header and select the Group By option again. Click on the X next to the column selected to remove it from the grouping criteria. Remove all the columns selected and click Apply to go back to the view of all incidents in one list. If you're looking for one specific incident or want to view an entity on your map, like a specific camera, you can easily find them using the search. Click on the search to activate it and start typing in the search field that appears. You will immediately start seeing any incidents or entities that contain what you're typing. For incidents, it will look at the name of the incident ID, the location or source entity, description, and external ID. If you want to see any one of the incidents or entities in the search results list, just click on it and it will center the map on it. If the incident or entity is on multiple maps, it will ask you which one you want to see. Next to the search, we have our filter, where you can cut down the visibility of your list based on specific things that you're looking for. Once you select different filters from the list and hit Apply, anything that doesn't match will be hidden from view. The incidents are still there, but you just won't see them. The View filter can be used to see only the incidents you own, or if you're a supervisor, incidents sent to the people you supervise. The Type is used to select all incidents with the same name. You can also select a category, which will include all incident types within it. The State allows you to select one or more incident states, except for the closed state, since those types of incidents do not show up in the list. Location is the source entity for the incident, and you can reduce the list based on the priority as well. There are checkboxes to look for incidents within a certain trigger time range. If you leave one of the boxes unchecked, it will basically consider that as unlimited. For example, if I want to see everything up to a certain date, I would leave the From box unchecked and put the date in the To field. If you want to add more entries to a certain filter category, click on the plus icon next to the one you've added already, then click the Add an Item icon below it. Click on the X to remove a filter criteria and hit Apply when you've selected everything you want to filter on. You also have the Clear button on the bottom to see everything again. Once you have a filter applied, the filter will have a small number in red next to it telling you how many filter categories have been applied, and your active incident count will show you the number you are seeing out of the total number of active incidents you can normally see. For example, if I filter my list to only see critical and high priority incidents, I will still have a 1 next to my filter since these are both priorities, and that is one category of filter. A nice feature in the filters is the ability to save and load templates. Once you have your filter set up the way you want, click on the Template button and you can choose Save As to give the template a name. You will also see the existing templates to make sure this isn't a duplicate, and will need to choose if you want this to be a private or public template. If this is a useful template that you can see a lot of people on your team needing, you can save it as public, and the next time someone logs in, they will see the new public template. You can also make changes to it and save it from the template menu, or manage the templates you have access to. If you have saved your filter configurations as a template, when you hit Apply, you'll see the name of the template instead of the number of categories applied. When your administrators are setting up the incident types, they may add some timers to the incident and the dynamic procedure steps. There's different behavior you might see depending on how they have been configured. Unless you have the TTR events visibility turned off in the latest activity filter, you will always see these in the latest activity list in the Details pane. Look for the little clock icon, and it can be one of 3 types of event. The first is if there's a timer for how long it takes for someone to start working on the incident. If the team has taken too long, you'll see an activity that says, "The response time was not respected." When the incident has been resolved, you may see the minimum resolution time was not respected, or the maximum resolution time was not respected. The first one means the incident was resolved faster than expected, and the second one means the incident was resolved slower than expected. In addition to the warnings in the latest activity list, you may also get a pop-up in your notification tray warning you that the time for an incident has not been respected. This could be an indicator that a team member needs some help or guidance. This may not be configured for all incidents. The incident you are working on may also have these kind of events configured for a particular dynamic procedure step. Your administrators may not care how long it takes to resolve the whole incident, but they may have set a 5-minute resolution time on the procedure step telling you to evacuate the building. You'll also see notifications for the procedure steps come up the same way as for the incident. Instead of making lists of users who will always be recipients of an incident, we can use profiles to be more flexible about who can see the incident. When profiles are created, the administrators decide who can be a member of the profile and which incidents are associated with that profile. If you're a member of a profile and you have it selected, you'll see any active incidents of the types associated with that profile. You can have more than one profile active at a time. If you have profiles set up on your system, you'll see the Profile button next to the Filter button on the top of your incident monitoring task. To change profiles, just click on the profile icon and you can select one or more profiles to be a member of. This will adjust your incident list based on the ones you have selected. When you're selecting your profiles, bear in mind that having nothing selected and having everything selected does exactly the same thing. With nothing selected, you're basically saying you don't want to restrict the list based on a profile, and you want to see everything. If you need to change from one profile to another, for example from the Facilities Team profile to the Security Team profile, you will now only see the incident types that are associated to the Security Team. However, if you're the owner of an incident that is not in one of the profiles you have now selected, we don't want to just abandon the incident, so you'll still be able to see that incident until you close it or release ownership. Once you select a number of profiles, you will now see how many profiles you are part of by the number next to the Profile button. There are several ways you can be assigned profiles. The way we just looked at is if you have the permission to modify the profiles you belong to yourself. This may be something that's assigned to the Operations Center supervisor, or it can be assigned on an automatic basis. If your supervisor has control, they will choose which profiles you will be a part of. For automatic assignment, anyone who has access to a profile will be assigned to it.